What's going on, guys? It's Mr. DEBT, Joe Lorick from the Money Etiquette Group, and today I want to talk about the coronavirus and the stock market. A lot of people are worried. They're seeing that Monday morning the stock market dropped before it opened in futures about 400 plus points, and people are wondering how bad is this going to get? How low will the market get? How many points will be lost? How much money will be lost as long as this virus scare is going on? As of now, just to throw some numbers out there, they're saying that 3,000 cases have been confirmed with 80 deaths. Now, if we think about the past, that'll help us to identify where the market's going to go. And everything, of course, depends on how far this virus spreads, how many people die, how many people get infected. All of that impacts how long this will affect the market, and also how long it will affect us from an economic standpoint, whether you're in the United States, you're in China, or anywhere else in the world. But here are some numbers to consider when you think about where the stock market is going in response to the coronavirus. From November 2012 to July 2003, we had the SARS scare, where approximately 8,000 people were infected and 770 people died. And if you look at those numbers, that's actually a higher death rate than what we're dealing with now with the coronavirus. But during that time, we saw, at least with airline stocks, a 30% drop in value. Again, a 30% drop in value, and we did see a decrease in all other sectors. But we also can see when it comes to the lows and the highs, when we look at the time frame, it took about 3 months for the market to kind of reach its bottom in response to the scare from SARS. And it took another 3 months to recover. So in about 6 months, we saw everything happen. And if you look at the chart next to me, that kind of gives you an idea of how other responses to viruses have been. It's always been, of course, there's been a low and there's been a recovery period. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but it all depends on how long this epidemic goes on. It depends on how much this spreads. Right now, the rate is increasing in terms of infection, but that makes sense because you're never going to have all the reported cases available to the CDC and to everyone that handles those reports. So you're never going to have all the cases confirmed or accounted for, especially when you're dealing with China with billions of people. You're dealing with a high population area. And certainly when it comes to spreading, everyone doesn't know that they have it. Some people understand it later in time because based on reports, you don't know that you're sick until you're really sick. You may think that you just have a fever. You may think that you just have some cases of flu, maybe even a cold, and then it could be much more serious. So when it comes to these type of outbreaks, there's no telling how fast it will spread, where it's going to go. We don't know time frames. We don't know anything, but we do know there's always a period to recover and a period to reach a bottom. And where you as an investor can take advantage of this if you want to, is you can look at, okay, what's going to bottom? I can get it for cheap because I know it's going to go up in another 3-4 months, but you have to really monitor the market and pay attention to the virus and how far it spreads over a time frame. You really have to pay attention. Some stocks that traditionally perform well when we have these type of scares, when we have these type of epidemics that spread, gold, silver, copper, your commodities definitely go up. Oil does particularly well, but transportation is hurt. Okay, because people aren't going so many places. So you have hotels that lose money. You have anything that's around vacationing and travel. They suffer the most, but you also have other places that suffer because there's work not being done. If you look at what's going on in China, you have a complete lockdown. So people aren't going to school. People aren't going to work. Stores are empty. People are not purchasing things from local markets. So that affects the entire economy. That affects that entire ecosystem. In a longer time frame that this takes place, the more that's going to be a negative impact versus a positive. So we'll see how far this spreads. Again, when you compare this to SARS, you see that the death numbers are less. It seems to be possibly spreading a little bit faster with the increases, and we don't know how far this is going to go, but I would say be prepared. And if you're worried about your stock, you're worried about your investments, go ahead and take advantage of this market. Take advantage of it by buying on the low and look to hold until you see a high, because this will pass. This is not something that's going to last forever. These cases never last forever. So don't be afraid to invest, but invest wisely. When it comes to the 52-week challenge, I decided to invest in a mining company because not just what was going on now, but I looked at the long-term value of gold, my predictions for 2020 and where the market's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and invest in companies that mine gold, silver, and different commodities. I'm not just going to invest directly in commodities. That's easy. I'll do that and I'll buy that and store that in my home. But when it comes to investments, I am looking at mining companies, and the company that I chose this week, because it's within the challenge price frame at $4, it made sense for me to do so. So again, guys, make sure you make wise investment choices. Don't be afraid of the market or feel like, things are just going to keep going down forever. We don't know how long it's going to go down, but we do know it's going to be a recovery period, and it's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of a market. Also, guys, don't forget, cryptocurrency does well in chaos. Don't forget that. Cryptocurrency is another investment where you can hide your money or put your money, and you're going to see that go up during this time where there's chaos, where we're seeing that the economy is kind of, I don't know, the global economy is kind of shaky because people are kind of responding saying, well, how far is this going to go? People are worried. Cryptocurrency in the short term is a great place to move your money during these times. That's just something to consider. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be monitoring this when it comes to the impact on the stock market. I'll give you my best advice in terms of what I think is going to happen. But of course, you should always make your own decisions and consult a professional. If you're investing, make sure you don't just look at videos. I mean, that's a good help. But at the same time, if you're really going to be in this, make sure you consult a professional. If you're going to make major moves, if you're doing this by yourself, just use the information and make your best decisions possible. Don't forget, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications, because any day of the week, we could be talking about different moves of the market. We could be talking about financial literacy. We could be talking about IPOs. Certainly everything that's beneficial to you when you're planning your lifestyle, and you're planning your investing, and you're thinking about generational wealth. This is the channel for you. Turn on your notifications. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, support it, share it, make sure other people get this message, because we want as many people as possible to do well during this time. It's not about being afraid. It's not about fear. It's about how to react, how to counteract, and how to move forward in strength. All right, guys, until the next video, later.